Hello and welcome. Today let's talk about the tax that you have to deduct and pay when you buy an immovable property, say a house or a plot of land worth 50 lakh or more. If you have observed, I said deduct and pay. Now the question is, deduct from whom? This tax has to be deducted from the money that you would pay to the seller of the property. It has to be paid to the government within certain time limit. Otherwise, you will have to pay interest and fine. In short, this is not the tax that you pay from your pocket. Instead, you deduct from the portion of the money to the seller, thus paying the seller only the balance. Once the tax is deducted and paid to the government, you would have to generate TDS certificate aka Form 16B online. The seller will be able to take credit of the tax that you have deducted and paid on the basis of this TDS certificate. Let's now summarize what are we going to learn in this video. First, what kind of properties are we talking about? Then, when to deduct and pay the tax? In the end, step-by-step process on how to pay the tax as well as to generate TDS certificate both online. Let's start with the definition of immovable property. Here, immovable property can be a house, flat or villa or a plot of land except rural agricultural land where the property value is rupees 50 lakh or more. In other words, if you buy an agricultural land in a rural area or if the value of the property is less than 50 lakh, then you don't have to deduct and pay this tax. Let's now see how is the value of the property computed. Property value would include the sale consideration, that is the purchase price, plus club membership fee. Let's say you buy a flat, so in order to use certain amenities, you would be required to pay certain membership fee. So such membership fee would be added to the purchase price, plus car parking fee, electricity, water facility fee, plus maintenance and other incidental charges. All this would be added to arrive at the property value. If the property value is rupees 50 lakh or more and where the seller is a resident Indian, then you as a buyer are required to deduct tax at source, that is TDS, at 1% of the property value and pay the balance to the seller. In other words, if the value of the property is less than 50 lakh, then no TDS. If the seller is an NRI, that is a non-resident Indian, then the rate of tax would be much higher. What if the property value is less than stamp duty value? Stamp duty value means the value at which you register the property. It is also known as municipal value, guidance value or circle rate. Let's say the property value is rupees 45 lakh and stamp duty value is 55 lakh. In this situation, TDS at 1% would be applicable on the stamp duty value, not on the property value. Let's now see when you have to deduct the tax. Tax has to be deducted at the time of making payment. This would include even advance payments or at the time of agreement or registration, whichever is earlier. Once you deduct the tax, it has to be paid to the government within certain time limit. Let's now see when to pay this tax. Let's say you have bought a house for 75 lakh and you have purchased this on 1st July 2022. As a buyer, you are required to deduct 1% of 75 lakh, so TDS would be 75k. Balance 74.25 lakh would be paid to the seller. Now this TDS of 75,000 has to be paid to the government within 30 days from the end of the month. Here the transaction has happened on 1st July 2022. So end of month would be 31st July 2022. So you will have to pay the tax by 30th August 2022. This tax can be paid either online or offline. Let's now see the step-by-step process on how to pay the tax. Navigate to the tax payment portal, click on services, e-payment, pay taxes online. Scroll down to TDS on property form 26QB and click on proceed. In the taxpayer info tab, in the field tax applicable, select income tax other than companies. Financial year and assessment year would be filled on the basis of date of payment. We'll shortly see this. Status of the seller would be resident. As a buyer, enter your PAN and retype the same. Enter the PAN of the seller and retype the same. Click on next. In the address tab, transferee is the buyer. In the city or district field, enter the city or district, select state, enter PIN code and email ID of the buyer. If the property is going to be registered in a joint name, then in the field whether more than one transferee or buyer, select yes, otherwise select no. Here I have selected no. Transferor is the seller. Enter city or district, select state, enter PIN code of the seller. If the property that is going to be registered is in a joint name, then in the field whether more than one transferor or seller, select yes, otherwise select no. Here I have selected no. Click on next. In the property details tab, select the type of the property, land or building. Here I have selected land. Enter the city or district, select state, enter PIN code where the property is situated. Enter date of agreement. Here it is 1st July 2022. In the total value of consideration, enter the property value. Here it is 75 lakh. Enter the stamp duty value. Let us assume it to be 50 lakh here. Payment type can be lump sum or installment. If you have made a one-time payment, select lump sum. If you are making payment in installments, select installment. Here I have selected lump sum. Enter date of payment. Here it is 1st July 2022. Date of tax deduction is same as date of payment. In the amount paid or credited section, select value of the property. Here it is 75 lakhs. In the tax deposit details section, in the field total amount paid or credited, enter 75 lakh. Basic tax TDS amount to be paid would be 1% of 75 lakh, that is 75,000. Click on next. In the last tab, that is payment info, you have two options to make the payment. First one is to pay immediately. Second option is to visit the bank and make the payment. Let's select the first option, e-tax payment immediately. You have two options here, net banking and debit card. Select the appropriate option and choose the bank name if you would like to pay immediately. If you would like to make the payment subsequently by visiting your bank, select the second option, enter CAPTCHA. Here let's select the first option, that is e-tax payment immediately, and click on proceed. Provide your consent and click on confirm. E-tax acknowledgement number would be generated. Scroll down and click on submit to the bank. This will navigate you to the net banking portal of your bank. Enter login credentials, make the payment and download the challan. Once you have paid the tax, wait for a few days to generate the TDS certificate. To generate the TDS certificate, navigate to the Traces portal, click on Login. If you are a new user, click on Register as new user and register. Enter login credentials and download Form 16B. This is the format of the Form 16B that would be generated from the Traces portal. That's all I have for you in this video. Hope this was helpful. If you have enjoyed this episode, you may like and share the video. Thank you for watching.